Hey guys, how's it going? I'm wrapping it up for another night, so I figured I'd grab the camera and do my walk around. So as you can see, first of all, that all the decking's removed. That was the first thing I did. Kind of wanted to get it out of my way and get a better visual of what I had for the top. And then I popped the tires off, and I was able to put it much lower on the lift to just make it an easier working height. But I finished up the bottom framework underneath. It was missing a leg over there, and I think on the last video that patch panel was not in that back wall yet, so that's done for that wheel well. And then I started fitting the floor. It's in two halves. These are out of a bus. You can kind of see the those plates right there for where the seats would mount, and some of the stuff's in a different location, like that guy right there. There would have been a post that came down through there, and it's not in this location. One of them did match up. There's one right there. I had to open it up a little bit further. And then on the corners are beefier. They're more of like a square like that, but this one on the corner is probably twice as wide, so I just had to curl it back, and that'll get cut off and fit up. But you can kind of see where I cut it away and bent it away to just start fitting the panel. And it looks like it fits pretty good. It shouldn't be a problem. I had to punch off one of the, again, that was another mount for a seat. I had to cut that off and hammer that metal up because there's a piece of steel under there. There's a rail that I added that runs across right through there, and it was right in the way of that. So, again, I don't need them. So, and the gap's not bad. It's probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Maybe it goes up to 1/4 of an inch. This corner's still floating. I could push this corner in. This beam is not welded. I think I showed it on the other video that this guy is not attached to the frame down below. I wanted to see where it was before I did it, but it looks like I could suck it all the way in. Shouldn't be a problem. So this lip has to get cut off. I think they leave them a little large just in case, but I had to just trim off about that much of it, and it should drop down the rest of the way and clear these. And on that back section there was a big old rot hole up in there, and pretty much everywhere I poked at it with a hammer it was gone, so I just sliced the whole thing out of there and made like a I think that patch was 41 by 8.5, something like that, and then welded it in all the way around. So that takes care of that hole. And then the other side's not fitted yet. If you look, basically here's the kind of like a before. If you look at that corner, you can see how it was meant for a little tiny corner and how much more it needs to be knocked out. And that's probably true in a couple of spots of it. The latches aren't the same. I got to do something with that because that's meant for 2 doors, and this only has the single latch for the side gate, for the treasure chest rather. And what else we get? Anything else done? Seems like you get a lot more done, but then you go to make a video and it's like, that's it. Must have been. So I got to it snowed the other day, so I got a couple of snow blowers to work on. Not that that would take that much time, but I got another job, some metal work to do for a friend of mine. Some grating I got to cut up and modify, so that'll be the next day or two. But I did order a bunch of parts for this. I ordered what did I get? I got clutch cable, throttle cable, a complete brake line kit, a master cylinder, the shift coupler, which is right where those two pieces meet. There's a shift coupler in there, and I figure while I have the floor out, I'll change that out and get that down before the floor's in place. I did get a tube of the window seal, the urethane style, and I tried gluing a piece of the same metal to a piece of rusty metal to a piece of new metal. I should have prepped the surface. I did not. I probably let it sit for about 3 or 4 hours. It held pretty good, but it peeled off the smooth surface easier than it did off of this stuff. So I think I could use that, but I think I'm going to go for the other stuff that you guys suggested, which was Fixie Flex or something like that was the name of it, 221, and it's more of the stuff that's meant for like RVs who glue the panels on the side, metal to metal. A couple of guys said they used it. It works very well. It stuck really good on this. I actually should have let it cure longer. I probably let it sit about 3 hours before I ripped it apart. But I mean, it was tough. It was hard to get it apart, but it did peel off the metal, and it stayed on. It peeled off the shiny metal, and it was stuck pretty good to the rusty stuff. So that's what I'm going to be working with. I think that should do it. The other stuff that we talked about. And again, I appreciate it, guys, for steering that towards me, and I'm going to try to order some of that off of eBay or whatever. I saw a couple of them on eBay, so we'll go with that. Yeah, I got to make a bunch of this stuff. That's the grading. So that's where it is. And it'll sit for about 2 or 3 days, maybe. I may work on the floors again tomorrow. I'll try to fit them and get them all set to go and get ready to drop in. But I have to wait for that cement and some of the other bits and pieces to come in too. Harvey Spooner, you were asking about the plasma cutter. I think I made a video a long time ago on what it was for a plasma cutter, but it's one of those Chinese ones. There's a whole bunch of different names, but this one's like a Slice 50D Giant Tech. There's a bunch of different ones. It's 220 volt. This was like the cheapest of the 50 amp series that they made. I usually, like on the metal that I'm working on now with the 16 gauge, it's up around 20, 22. You peg it, it goes up to like 54, 55, yeah. But for what I'm doing right now, sheet metal, I low 20s, something like that is good. And I run it at about 60 psi, and it works fine. They are Chinese. They are what they are. They, some of the stuff you can kind of tell the quality is not the greatest. But I've done a lot of work with it, and it hasn't let me down yet. The only thing I would say is you want to try to match the, like, if you think 20 is good, I could peg it to 54 and go faster. Don't do it. It just burns up the tips. It seems like it blows out the center of it fairly quickly. I've been doing this so far on the same one now. I know the lighting sucks. Hold on a second. See if that helps. See if the light comes on. You can kind of see what happens is that center of that tip will end up getting elongated or just blown out wider than it should be, and it starts trying to cut a fatter path, and then yeah, you lose it. You lose all control of it. It's not making a clean cut anymore. And the only other thing I would say is that if you get one, you want to put it in one like a paint air inline. Keep moisture away from it, because the one thing that they do not like, plasma cutters, no matter which one you get, is moisture. So it's got a little regulator on the back. It was in the 200s when I bought it. I think they're between 300 and 400, and they're pretty much all the same. If you look on eBay and you see that look on that front panel, they'll all pretty much look just like that. Same button, same controls. That's what it is. I hesitate to say it. I recommend it. I don't know, you never know what happens a year or two later, how they are. But they seem to be pretty good, and there's a couple of people that have them. They seem to be happy with them too for a cheap machine, It's not a high-end thing, but it does make life so much easier. It works very well. Sometimes you can't get a cutting wheel in where that little tip can go in, and you can just kind of nib the metal right out of your way. And a little fine-tuning, like for example, like this corner was tight. I could pull the panel back out and get in there with a cutting wheel and go do it, or just come down there and go, and I could bend it away. Or make big sheets, cut them right off of there. I've done up to 3/4 with it. It severed 3/4, wasn't a clean cut. But, the thin stuff, it does pretty good. If you look at, like, I ripped it off of this sheet right here. And, it gives just a very light bit of, slag, I guess you call it, on the back end, but it's very minimal. You just run a straight edge against it and you can cut it right off. So sometimes you get a little sloppy, but you get the idea. You can get a fairly straight cut. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. We'll make a 20-minute one. We'll keep this one probably around 10 minutes. And again, thanks for watching, comment, subscribing. And thanks for following along in this project. It's an interesting one for sure. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.